like a real estate.
Hey everybody, Cyrus Hunter here. This is my second video where I look at hand independence at the piano. So in this video, I'm going to be looking at my song A Better Way, which I'll be releasing April 15th on 2021. And in the video, I examine the bass part, which I played on a keyboard synthesizer. I examine the bass part from part of the song, and I look at different right hand techniques, patterns, and scale ideas to develop hand independence. So stick around. Is that it's a development of your focus and your concentration, which is something that we develop over time. And depending, it comes from day to day, your focus and your concentration might go up and down at different levels, just because of that's the way your life is. So you have distractions and things. You might want to practice something like meditation or yoga, or something where you're focusing on your breathing, getting in the moment and zoning in on what you're doing. You can, depending on what level you're at and what level your focus is at, you might want to just break it into small chunks so you can just focus on what you're doing, depending on the technical difficulty of what you're doing too. If it's really challenging but you want to focus on getting it right, you have to do it in small chunks. I often practice in larger chunks because for myself, I know myself, and unless it's something very specific and detailed and I'm not getting it. If I'm just working on something, I know that the more that I play it, I'm aware of what I'm doing. I'm able to reflect on what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and so the next time, say through a progression, I might try the same thing and do it more cleanly, and I might do it better, perform it better the second time through. So I just need to keep going, and that's a reflection on myself, and I know what works for me. But if I was doing some very, very independent rhythmically, something that was very independent rhythmically, I would need to really slow it down and focus on what I'm doing and just do it in a small chunk. I'm going to take the bass line from part of a song that I wrote called A Better Way, which I'm releasing on April 15th. And it's in C sharp minor. It's going to go to the fifth note, a minor, I always think of it as A flat minor, but if we're in C sharp minor, then this would be G sharp minor. I just don't often think in those terms. Back to C sharp minor you can include the seventh in there, and then we're going to go to an F sharp chord, and it's a major, and sometimes I'm playing these two notes together, the third and the fourth, and then just the third, maybe just the fourth. I'm sort of assimilating multiple piano parts, like the bass part in the song and some sort of melody and chords at the same time in my right hand. So I'm looking at different ways I can play this, not necessarily the way I do it in the song. The bass hand I want to be like the song, but the right hand I want to explore different techniques so that I can develop my independence of my left hand from my right hand. So here's the bass pattern. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so that's you're going to want to be comfortable if this is what you actually want to practice. This is something I'm practicing. I might see how I changed those left hand notes? I added a 9. So I need to know these chords in different inversions. So a B major works nicely on top of this G sharp because it's just the chords running up to the 7, 3, 5, 7. And we go back to this chord. And we go to here. So I need to know these inversions, and I need to know the scale. So it's C sharp minor, making it a Dorian with that major 6, sorry, and a lower 7th. Now, Rick Beato talks about finding those semitones within the scale. They help, and just different intervals within that. So what if I put that on top? It's beautiful, right? So that would work on that chord. And melodically too, like that. It's just on the G sharp. So exploring the scale. You need to know this. Like, you need to know the scale, the Dorian scale, to do this. So whatever you're practicing, you need to know the scale. You might alternate between different scales or variations. You want to be able to do different patterns within it. I could make it a minor pentatonic scale. So you can also just practice your different chord inversions. And maybe I'll practice with this pattern. Let me start from the beginning. So. Okay, now see, I'm just doing it out of time. I'm not really because I need to make sure I know what I'm doing. Find those chord inversions. Now, maybe I'll just do something like in the left hand. So I always want to, maybe at the end of the phrase, if I'm doing a pattern and I don't want to make it musical, and maybe at the end I'll go into some melodic phrase to end the phrase, so, or end the pattern. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. See, I'm messing it up, so let me do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So now, so we'll go back. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So there's 2 bars. 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Right? So we've got 2 bars. 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 bars on each one. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Well, now. Okay, so maybe when I get to that note, I'll start to come back down again. Okay. Okay, so I've decided I don't play in this key that much, so I'm playing a little bit awkwardly. I feel like my fingers I don't have that muscle memory as well as I do in other keys. So it's good for me to practice this. So it's a key that I don't play in as often. So it's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So it's, I have to think about it when I'm going to those chord changes, and I still want to, sometimes I'm maybe messing up the pattern slightly. So maybe I'll just go back and do a smaller chunk. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And I'm going to start to slow down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit more comfortable by now. Okay. So I'm thinking guide tones or chord tones in half notes or whole notes, and then maybe eventually gradually connecting them with passing notes or other chord tones to make little melodies, often maybe in between as you're transitioning, like at the end of the bar from one chord to another. So say, so actually playing for 2 bars. See what I did there? See what I'm doing? Just with chord tones. Lots of space. Find the notes you like that work over the chords. And then start adding little passing notes and rhythm. Lots of chord tones. Know your chord inversions. Pentatonic pattern. Maybe some other interval like a 6. I want to practice some trills. It's hard to do a trill over a certain pattern. I would have to practice this some more to get more comfortable on some of the other techniques that I've been working on before I would try and do a trill in a difficult part of the left hand. But I noticed that on that chord, I have a kind of a wonky key here. I can do it trills and ornaments in other spots. I can do a whole yeah, so I think that's about it. So we covered a lot of different things, ways you could practice to develop independence between your left hand and your right hand over this chord progression. For A Better Way, I'm Luke Cyrus Hunter, and my single A Better Way will be out April 15th that incorporates this bass line that we've been looking at today and right hand patterns. We were just developing it in a way to work on hand independence. That's it for this week. I'll see you later.